Hi everyone, Sandman here. This video is brought to you by a very generous donation from Mike. He didn't give me a specific topic, so I want to talk about an article called A Husband's Ultimate Betrayal. Getting in Shape, an article from the Baltimore Sun written by Laura Black. The article starts off like this, and I quote, "When Charles and I were married 25 years ago, he weighed 300 pounds. Now he weighs 205. My burly bear has morphed into a buff Adonis, and I hate it. Just the other week, we were at a party when a friend greeted us with, 'Hi, Laura,' and then, 'Charles, wow, you look amazing. How'd you actually lose so much weight?' While my once fettuccine Alfredo-loving husband proselytized about portion control and barbell squats, I slinked off to find a drink, waiting for my Sauvignon Blanc. I flash back to the times Charles and I ravished a giant eclair on our way to buy a treadmill." Unquote. So after reading that part of the article, which I'm also linking to in the description below, it's obvious that Laura is jealous of all the extra positive attention that Charles is getting when the two of them would go out in public. People are giving him high fives while brushing her aside. In the article, she mentions that when they met, he was fatter than her, and she wanted a man whose girth would quell her insecurities. Well, at least she's admitting to the fact that she has issues. Everything, it seems, comes down to sexual marketplace value with us humans in our relationships. In my first adult relationship, my ex tried fattening me up and told me to get an unattractive haircut to lower my value so that other women wouldn't swoop in and try and take me. Women, it seems, are very territorial like this, and they want to be the ones that people pay attention to in a relationship from the outside. Yet it's us men that are basically portrayed as the jealous type. My thinking is that women are the more jealous type, they just go about it in sneakier ways with plausible deniability. She says that they both had the dubious pleasure of the shared humiliation of being fat in a world that exalts thin. But I'm not so sure about this. I'm in the upper end of the normal range in the body mass index, and people are looking at my weight as if I'm ready to keel over and die because I'm so skinny. Yet I see plenty of taller guys that are skinnier than me for their height, and no one pretty much criticizes them. You see that being tall not only gets you more attention from women, but you're also accepted at a wider range of weights when you're taller. A tall, skinny dude isn't told that he's skinny because his calves are usually still thicker than the average man's arms. But getting back to the article, Laura says that she was the one that pushed him to slide into slimness before she asked him to commit to going to the gym with her. He began counting calories and she started freaking out. She says this, and I quote, "Yes, it is affecting me. Last night at dinner, our waiter asked, 'How about dessert?' Before I had a chance to respond, Charles patted his now flat stomach and said, 'None for me. It's going to go to my waistline.'" Unquote. Charles might be simply conveying that he's full or that he doesn't actually want to gain any weight, but I believe that Laura sees him patting his flat stomach as triggering and an insult, and it might be triggering to her. She could easily see him doing that to mock her. That, after all, is how many women think. What I find really interesting about this piece and why I believe it was written to begin with was to shame Charles to loosen up and gain some of that weight back, because it's making Laura insecure. But it's also being written as a sort of plausible deniability. She doesn't mention the possibility that other women are also looking at him. After all, he's over 6 feet tall and a good weight, and in a relationship, so other women are certainly eyeballing him more than ever. Laura can't seem to admit that she's jealous of his new health and fitness because it makes him more attractive than her, even though she points at it at one point where she says that he was heavier than her and now he's skinnier. It's making her insecure. But why, Laura? What makes you feel so insecure at this point? After all, Laura Black, you're the author of Big Butts, Fat Thighs, and Other Secrets to Success. Could it be that you're scared of a skinny man? You've got all that obese success to peddle on everyone out there, and yet it's making you insecure. I think that this new crisis with skinny Charles was created because Charles was too fat and he was going to have an imminent heart attack, and as a result you would lose your plow horse. So instead of allowing this to happen, you pushed him to exercise. He took his health too seriously and now you're paying the emotional price. But the thing is, you don't actually hear about guys complaining about their wives when they get in shape. You don't typically hear him complain about his insecurities about how much better she looks. Most guys enjoy it, but most of them don't realize that many women lose the weight before they try to monkey branch to a better man. She doesn't want to break up with you until she's pretty much able to string along the next guy. Guys don't think like that yet because all the postmodern fat acceptance gender studies professors say that men and women are the same, so women obviously think that men do actually think that way. The article ends like this, and I quote, "Weighed down by my anxieties, I go to my husband and confess my fears. He takes me in his arms and whispers, 'I love you just the way you are. But just in case, tomorrow I'm going to be eating a hard-boiled egg and a rice cake for breakfast.'" Unquote. So what exactly are Laura's fears? We, the humble readers, don't actually learn about what those really are. Did she whisper in his ear that she was afraid that he was going to get hit on by a hotter woman with thunder thighs and leave her for one of those instead? Because when a woman increases her marketplace value, you can sure bet that they're recalculating their options, and most guys have zero ideas about this, because they're drooling on her new cleavage, like a British bulldog. The reason that Laura probably also sees this entire situation as her husband's ultimate betrayal is also because of her fat empowerment book. Can you imagine what people are saying behind her back? She's empowered and fat, but if fat is so empowering, then why did Mr. Tubby choose to lose all that weight and leave Laura hanging high and dry? She wrote this article for a number of reasons, mostly damage control in her book and her whole fat empowerment thing, but also because she wanted to publicly shame her husband for his weight loss. But most importantly, she wants him to feel bad that she feels bad in White Knight for her. In this case, that means gaining some of the weight back, preferably to the place where he's not going to fall over like a tree in the woods from a heart attack, but also be bigger than her. He now has to sacrifice his health to make her feel less insecure about herself. She wanted him to lose weight because of selfish reasons, and now she wants him to gain it back for selfish reasons as well. I really hope that everyone out there can see what's going on here. She fattened him up in the beginning, if you read the article, and then she wanted him to lose the weight, and he did, and now she actually wants him to gain some of it back. Nowhere in this article do we hear anything about what he wants or how he feels. Men aren't supposed to have feelings, and we're only supposed to think when a woman wants us to think, or when we get one of our jobs surrounded by women telling us how to think and what we should do. I've had at least half a dozen guys requesting topics covering how their girlfriends or wives lost a ton of weight and then dumped them for Chad or Tyrone, and sometimes both. But can you imagine the potential backlash that would actually happen if a man wrote an article about his wife losing a ton of weight and then pretty much running off with another dude? People would laugh at him and criticize him and say, well, you should have lost some weight too, or you should have been more attentive or tried harder. But when a man loses weight, he doesn't even cheat, and now he's shamed by Laura, his wife, publicly and humiliated so that she can save face. Ironically, she was probably the one that scared him about heart attacks and strokes and cholesterol because one of her friends or coworkers probably said something she didn't like, and so she dumped it on him like verbal diarrhea. Now she's afraid that he looks better and has more options when it comes to women out there. She can't control those other women if they start throwing themselves at him. However, if she makes sure that he's not a juicy target, then she can thin the herd, no pun intended, with regards to the number of women that are hitting on him. She's played a numbers game with her marriage. She called him a burly bear. Why not just call him a heart attack hottie? When women meet and marry a man, they want him to change again and again, it seems. The guy literally has to be like putty in her hands, changing over and over again. Most of the time, he doesn't even know how or why he's being changed. When he changes too much in any one direction, and the woman that he's with doesn't like this, she has to find a way to change him back without him even realizing it. So hence we have Charles once again dealing with the shaming language Laura throws his way in this article. She's probably hoping that the next time they meet, friends at a party, they will mention her article instead of mentioning all the weight that Charles lost, and how fabulous he looks. Who knows, they might even actually shame him to put on weight so Laura doesn't have to do anything to get him to gain it back. Other people might do the hard work of getting him to pack on the pounds for her. Charles will soon be back to his sloth-like roly-poly ways, and she will be able to rest knowing that he's fatter than her. Here's a woman thin-shaming her own husband after encouraging him to get thin. Gee, I'd like to be a fly on the wall in their living room, listening to their arguments. Women always change the man and pretend to mean well at the same time. They want to come off as caring and thoughtful with a good helping hand, telling you what to do. But you still actually have to do the hard work, and then they take all the credit for it. Notice that Charles only lost weight because she was the one that first encouraged him to do so. She belittles all the hard work he does on the treadmill and his impulse control at the restaurant when he says that he actually wants to keep his stomach flat. All of this kind of behavior on her part is all about taking credit for him losing the weight in the first place. So people that know them as a couple shouldn't be praising Charles, but they should instead be praising her. That way she gets the accolades from everyone, and he gets shoved in the background. Remember that most women want to be the more beautiful ones in the relationship, and while they get together with a guy that's higher marketplace value, they tone him down and take him down a few notches or more, and then she's higher marketplace, and then they pretty much leave him and he's wondering what happened. They will then typically say that he changed too much from the man that she met. Meanwhile, she's the one that changed him to begin with. It's really sickening to watch this kind of stuff happen. In the end, the guy's demonized for not being exciting or good enough for the woman, but meanwhile, in the end, she's the one that's not good enough to begin with. I have one friend that gained 60 pounds because his girlfriend wanted him to gain weight. Now he has health problems and rationalizes them to himself by saying that this is what his girlfriend wants from him. Some guys will simp and do anything, regardless of the outcome if it's good or bad with regards to health. Anyways, that's all I've got to say for today. Thanks again, Mike, for the more than generous donation, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to smash the like button the way that Laura wants Charles to smash those pizzas and edible undies for dessert. Bang the bell and check out the MGTOW mystery link. Follow me on Twitter or like me on Facebook to get tomorrow's video today. Subscribe to me on Minds.com or Gab.ai to get the video for the day after tomorrow. Thanks for taking your daily dose of red pills, and remember, a red pill a day keeps the fat acceptance writing failures away. So enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers!